Now let's talk about the nature of development. When discussing the characteristics of the lifespan perspective, we said that development occurs throughout the entire lifespan and includes multiple processes, periods, and issues. We're going to look more closely at those processes, periods, and issues. The three main developmental processes are biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional. Biological processes involve physical changes. Think about changes in your height, weight, and motor skills as you went from being a toddler to a child to a young adult. Cognitive processes involve changes in an individual's thought, intelligence, and language. You go from speaking single words and matching simple shapes to writing entire essays and solving complex problems. And there are socio-emotional processes, which involve changes in an individual's relationships with other people, changes in emotions, and changes in personality. Think about friendships that you have made, people you have relied on, and people who have relied on you. Think about how interactions have strengthened or weakened your sense of trust in others. These three major processes, biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional, interact with each other as individuals move through the various periods of development. You've got the prenatal period, when we go from a single cell to an organism in about 9 months. You've got infancy, where we are beginning to learn language, coordinate our movements, and interact socially. There is early childhood, when we start to become more self-sufficient, develop school readiness skills, and form important social skills through playing with peers. In middle and late childhood, we are in elementary school, where we develop fundamental skills in reading, writing, and math, and start to gain an awareness of the world beyond our immediate family and friends. In adolescence, we begin the transition from childhood to adulthood. We experience rapid physical changes and explore our sense of identity. In early childhood, we become independent, starting careers, perhaps getting married, or starting a family of our own. In middle adulthood, the focus begins to shift to expanding one's responsibilities, such as caring for aging parents, mentoring the next generation, or becoming well established in a career. Finally, late adulthood marks a period of life review, retirement if possible, and adjusting to new roles, new social roles involving decreasing strength and health. Lately, there is also the idea of emerging adulthood. This is a transitional period between adolescence and adulthood, around 18 to 25 years old. This is a time of many possibilities. Individuals are still exploring career paths, deciding who they are as a person, and contemplating different lifestyles. Do I want to get married, or do I prefer to stay single? Do I want to have kids someday? Should I go to college, enter the workforce? Both? Am I interested in graduate school? No matter the answers, emerging adulthood is a time of exploration and transformation. A person may not feel like an adolescent anymore, but also may not feel quite like an adult yet. How important is age when trying to understand an individual? The different developmental periods can tell us some things about a person, but there are plenty of individual variations. In general, adults tend to get happier as they age. You can't think of aging only in terms of physical aging. They're also developing psychologically and socially. Older adults tend to be more content with their lives, feel less pressure to achieve, and have years of experience and wisdom to help them adapt to their circumstances. However, getting older doesn't guarantee that you'll be happier. Life satisfaction also varies with how healthy you are, where in the world you live, and your individual expectations of life. There are many different ways to conceptualize age. Chronological age is the number of years since birth. So if you were born in the year 2000, then in the year 2021, you would chronologically be 21 years old. Biological age is your age in terms of biological health. So maybe you are chronologically 21 years old, but because of heavy smoking and drinking, your internal organs are closer to that of a 60-year-old. Your psychological age is your adaptive capacities compared with others of the same chronological age. If you encounter someone who seems more emotionally mature for their age, or by contrast, who seems really immature for their age, then you are thinking about their psychological age. And social age refers to connectedness with others and the social roles that individuals adopt. Individuals who have better social relationships with others are happier with their lives and live longer than those who are lonely. In terms of patterns of aging, normally our psychological functioning peaks in early middle age, remains stable until around 60, and then gradually declines through the early 80s. For some people, though, this decline is accelerated through things like Alzheimer's disease or other chronic diseases. We refer to this as pathological aging. By contrast, some people maintain a high level of functioning for longer and don't start declining until later in old age than most people. We refer to this as successful aging. For a long time, people only focused on the declines in late adulthood, but now we are becoming more interested in learning the secrets to successful aging. Is who you are as a person determined by your genetics or by your experiences? Are you stuck with how you are, or can you change? As we're developing, do we develop gradually like a sapling growing into a bigger tree? Or do we suddenly click from one distinct stage to another, like a caterpillar suddenly becoming a butterfly? Most developmentalists will say it's a bit of both for each of them, but all three of these issues are significant to development through the lifespan, and there's a lot of debates about how strongly one or the other influences development. Development is a complicated process, so you're not going to find any simple answers.